I talk about hockey because, I never gave up. You know what I mean? I never gave, right? So all this time, you're going to have wasted times where, like, you'd have tried 5 things. The quote "never lose hope" is actually in the Bible. I never knew that.
Oh, really?
I forget the chapter.
Actually,
but,
that's very cool.
I don't know if you can put your life. It's God. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. So God is involved in that. 100%. So build a strong foundation.
I definitely agree with that. We are back with another episode of the Grind Theory. Listen, we're not saying podcast. I didn't say podcast because we're thinking bigger than that now. You know what I'm saying? Bigger things, bigger plans. But we are back with another episode. Another beautiful day. So today, first things first, before we start anything, we got to give God thanks. So first and foremost, I just want to thank God for allowing me to be here, allowing Ori to be here behind the camera, allowing our guests to be here, keeping us safe to and from work today on our travels to the studio, and hopefully when we leave the studio to get back home safely. So just want to give God thanks before we start anything. Now, on top of that, just a recap of last week's episode. Last week's episode, we've interviewed Vince Carnot, and we dove into a lot of real estate, things real estate, how he started early in his career from like 17 years old, how he ended up owning a building complex and some of the struggles and obstacles that he had to face in that building complex. He even told us a story. You guys got to watch the episode, but he told us a story about one of his very first experiences moving into or taking over the building complex, where he had to deal with a lot of, vagabonds that were in his building. And the very first day that he got it, somebody just let out a big dookie on the middle of the steps. And they picked it up and threw it on the wall. Okay, I don't know if they threw it on the wall. But when he came back, it was all over the wall. So I'm pretty sure he smeared it. But you know what I mean? That's maybe TMI. But without further ado, today's episode is also the NBA Finals, Game 6. You already know who's going to win. We're going to talk about that a little bit further when we start the episode, but Boston. But today's episode is actually a guest that we had previously, but we actually didn't do him. We did him a disservice, I think Ori talked about that in one of our previous episodes where we lost the video to his episode. And it just didn't feel right, This guest that we have today is also one of my good boys, and so we decided to redo the episode. And also, so much has happened since then, so it's going to be a brand new episode. We'll talk about some of the things that happened before, but we'll also continue to see what progress he's made since then. So, without further ado, you want me to do the intro? Yes, sir. So, our guest today is a current high-level athlete, you know what I mean? Current high-level athlete, a former teammate of mine on the Edmonton Wildcats. He's also studying psychology in school at the moment, and he's also the founder and the owner of the brand Internal Keeper, whose mission is to always remind people to never lose hope or give up on their dreams. Not only that, but he also owns a trucking company, delivery service. And he is the man, you know what I mean? He gonna feel nice after I said that to him. But it's like a little bro to me. Really, really good friend of mine. Without further ado, we gotta introduce my man Kudzanai Bingepinge. Yo, listen, the very first time I did that, I got that wrong. So that's 1% better we just got right now. You know what I'm saying? So without further ado, we gotta introduce my man Kudzanai Bingepinge.
Yes, sir.
My man.
What's good?
What's poppin', bro?
Man, thanks for having me again.
No problem, man. You looking good, bro. I like the gear. You know
hey,
what I'm saying?
That's a new,
swagged out.
That's a new.
And new. You have to go to the website, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
But before we even start, though.
Yes, sir.
NBA Finals are happening right now.
Golden State.
Yo, just continue to just end the interview, bro. We're not even going to do this interview no more. Golden State, bro?
Golden State.
Why? Is it because of Curry?
Not even that. It's just about, about Curry, Draymond, Wiggins.
Draymond?
That's my guy. Crazy story about Draymond. When I played high school basketball, like everyone always asked, "Who's your favorite player?" Draymond. It's like, oh, I thought so. I was at a Five Guys one day, and then someone came up to me. He's like, "Can I tell you something? Like, don't get offended, but you know Draymond Green." You look like him. I was like, oh man. So Draymond's been my player. I feel like I played like him and all that stuff. So Golden State for sure.
Nah, bro. I'm tired of seeing Golden State win. Shout out to my boy Jay. I know he wants Golden State to win, but they ain't gonna win. Going to Game 7, we're gonna beat y'all in your own house. I'm not a Golden State hater, but I'm just tired of seeing y'all in the finals, man. Like I'm tired, yo. I want to see somebody else win. Yeah. So. Boston, they're up and coming, they're young, they're new. They deserve it. They deserve it. I mean, they gotta finish off the series, but I mean, I think they deserve it. So I think right now in the process or in the moment of the episode, the game is actually going on right now, and my prediction is that obviously the Boston Celtics win it. Tatum or Brown will be the highest scoring player. Curry might probably drop like 20 points, maybe, but he's gonna get locked up. You know what I'm saying? But we'll see at the end of the episode who really won. Yes, let's get into it, man. It's a pleasure to have you back on again.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
I'm looking forward to it. Don't worry, we're not gonna lose your video this time.
Yo, hopefully not. Yo, I was so cheesy. I was like, oh man, really? But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I know.
So Kudzi, man, take us back, man, to the beginning. Zimbabwe born, take us back to the earliest memories from there, man.
Born and bred in Zimbabwe. Grew up in Montreal for 12 years. Made a lot of friends, a lot of connections, lifelong bonds. When I was 13, moved to Edmonton, Drain Valley. Moved to Drain Valley at the age of 13, and that's where it all started. Honestly, that's where I made new friends. Continued playing hockey, so I started playing hockey in Montreal. And so what happened was I was playing intercity soccer, and my coach, my dad was coaching at the time. Yeah, coaching my team that I was playing with, and then I was good. Okay. I was good. I'm not gonna cap. Like I was good.
Let's say you the man.
Yeah, I was the man, yo. My dad was a coach. He was the man as well too. Okay. And we won, the house league championship. Okay. And then the intercity coach. Okay. So intercity is like you play different cities in Montreal. Okay. A club is just like, say if you're in Millwoods, you just play Millwoods.
Okay, Millwoods teams. Okay.
So then he saw that and he's like, hey, can you coach and can you start playing the intercity? And then my dad's like, I would love to, but I can't. I'm working. So my dad's like, you got to pick another sport. I picked up hockey. And ever since, till this day, I love hockey. I've been out of it for about 5 years now. Okay. A lot of it has to do with the racism that I faced. And at the time, the racism started in when I came to Alberta. But over there in Montreal, it was fine. So, when we moved, the racism started to the point where I had one guy's brother that I fought on the ice, so in exchange verbal words, message me and saying, and I quote, I know people everywhere, just be careful. And you know what I mean? So, telling a 15, 16-year-old boy that.
How old was that guy at the time when he told you?
He was probably like in his teens, 18, maybe like 20, you know what I mean? So it's, things like that shouldn't happen. Yeah. And, that's what drove me out of the game, and that's when I turned to football. I love football so much, like I've made lifelong friends, teammates, friends that are brothers now, but hockey is always my first love. So, when that happened, it really, it took a hit. I took a toll on that, but I still play, I still keep up with it and everything. I'm not as involved with it as I was before. I actually have two little cousins, they're family friends. Last year, we go to Leduc and help them practice, so that love came back. So, although I'm not playing it, I try to stay involved. So, but yeah, so yes, sir.
No, I like that, man. That was a little bit to unpack there. So basically you were in Zimbabwe, then you went to Montreal, then you went to I think you went to England for a little bit too.
You went to England for like a year.
For like a year. Yeah. Then you went to Drayton Valley. Yeah. So you were just moving around. All the time. So
moving around.
Kind of how was that moving all to these different places, and kind of how were you able to adapt, right? Because I know, like, for for a lot of people, when they're moving to a lot of different places, sometimes it's hard for them.
Yeah.
You know, that struggle of you met all these friends in Montreal, then you got to move to Drain Valley, make new friends, and you got to move to England, make new friends, got to move. You know what I mean? So how did you kind of deal with that? What was the process of that?
So to clarify, when I was in England, I'll say I was like 8 months. So it was Zimbabwe, England for a year, but I was young, so I didn't remember. So really, it's like when I grew up in Montreal, I made a lot of friends. You know, friends that I still talk to till this day. Some are, you know, making music. Some are like working now. Some are owning businesses. Some are like investing and all that stuff. So it's really crazy and cool to see like how far they've come. So when I moved to Alberta, it was a change. 2013, you know, I want to say where black people started, you know, creeping in Drain Valley, you know, Alberta itself. Like I mentioned, a lot of racism, not at school itself, maybe around the community a little bit, mostly in sports, playing hockey. And like I said, at the time I didn't know better, you know, how to take racism remarks and all that stuff. So to answer your question, you know, it was a change for sure. Growing up in Montreal, leaving when I was young, and you know, I think 13 is a peak age where, you know, you start hitting puberty, you start doing that. So it was really, you know, a change, you know, coming out here, making new friends again, you know, in a small community, small town. But, you know, I think one thing that didn't change was what my parents taught me. Always maintain your character, be respectful, be kind, be accommodating of other people, different races and everything. So when it comes to change, it's just adjusting to the I want to say the country life. You know, coming from a big city.
Going to
you know what I mean? Country, like I remember the second day we were there, my dad's like, "Okay, let's go. We're going to downtown." I was like, "I bet. Okay, I'm going downtown."
It's gonna be lit.
And like 5 minutes from home, like we're in downtown. I said, "Oh man, like this is gonna be tough." However, if I stayed in Montreal till, you know, maybe this age, or maybe 17, 18, I wouldn't know how to do some things like with my hands, like if I stayed there. If I hadn't come here, I wouldn't have learned that, because, you know, city and
country life is way
different. You know, kids out there are like working at like 13, 14 over there, like
farm, doing all you know
what I mean? So like I'm really grateful for that experience that I had, and now that like I can say like I'm handy, you know, I can do anything, you know, I can fix things, you know, I don't need to call up someone like, "Hey, can you come fix my door handle?" You know, it's like, you know,
I can do that.
So the adjustment was just, you know, making new friends and everything. But when it comes to like principal things that I was taught at home from my parents, none of those changed, and that carried over, and that actually made the transition, you know, smoother than it would, you know.
Okay. And what was your mindset then when you got into Drain Valley? When you got to Drain Valley now, because now you're in Drain Valley, and as you said, it's a big change. So now that you're realizing, like, downtown is like 5 minutes away from the crib. I could walk, just walk here, you know. So how was that mindset shift? Like, were you, because like looking back at it right now, right? You're like, it was a positive thing because it allowed me to learn how to use my hands and to be able to be handy, as opposed to if I was in the city still, I might not have been as handy, right? So, but that's what I'm sure at the time you didn't think that, or so what was your mindset when you first came in there, and how did you kind of change your mindset to be able to be appreciated?
So my dad came here to Edmonton actually in like 2012. Went to Fort Mac and then whatnot. So when he told us the news, we're moving to Alberta, I was just like, oh, dope, like we're moving. Like for me, I love flying. So the thought of just flying to a different province or somewhere, I was like, oh, like cool. Not thinking about like, what's in the actual town. Remember he sent us a picture of like how the house looks like, and I just see bushes. I was like, are there bears? Like, do bears just pop out? I was scared, you know. However, the mindset, you know, I was 13, right? I was still trying to switch from that city life to the country life. After some time, you know, I realized like, like I know why people are here. People are here to make money. People are here to kind of grow themselves, businesses. There's a lot of young guys working the oil fields. I've worked in the oil fields, so I got a taste of that. You know, I worked with my dad. He's a heavy duty mechanic, so I learned about that. So once you kind of see and experience, you know, different things in the small town, then your mind starts to shift. Not and it doesn't shift by you saying, okay, let me think about it. Why are we here? Why are we? No, it's you have to go through different experiences. Then you mature that way. So for me, how I matured was working with my dad. Working or seeing other people work, hearing people's backgrounds, where they come from, what their parents do, and eventually knowing, okay, what's Alberta known for? Okay, oil and gas. Okay. Oh, okay. That's what, then slowly, kind of, as you grow older, even the little things that they teach you in school, even what people drive, a lot of it's trucks. You know what I mean? So right now I have a truck, right? So I can never drive a car. Like, I've been in a car, I just feel so small. But, I'm so used to that country life in me that I actually prefer it. Like, a lot of people complain, oh, you're a homebody. But, for me, I just, in Drayton, it was all about work. Then you rest later. A lot of people in like small towns, I'll talk about Drayton Valley specifically, is people have houses there. They work in the oil field, but then now when winter comes, they all have houses like in Mexico, they have houses in Arizona, they have a house, they escape because, all that money that they worked for, just boom, accumulate, you know what I mean? So the mindset, it was hard, but again, how I learned it was through experience, and over time you kind of know why and the purpose that you're there. Kind of thing,
I like that. I actually like that a lot, because it was gradual. And that's one thing that I think sometimes people, I guess, get misinterpreted, is that you think that mindset, when you say, oh, you got to switch your mindset, it switches like that. It doesn't switch like that. It don't just happen like that.
You got to go through a valley.
You got to go through different experiences, and then you might be like, oh, it might really click in for you that I need to change my mindset to adapt to this situation.
Exactly.
So one thing I want to ask you, actually, you just kind of briefly mentioned it, is that you said you worked with your dad, right?
Yeah.
What would you say is one lesson that you learned from working with your pops?
I
put him on the spot now, pops.
Hard.
I put him on the spot.
It's one lesson is don't stop until the job is finished.
I like that.
Don't stop until the job is finished, because my dad works hard.
Yeah.
I tell him, yo, you gotta retire. Like you don't need to work no more. You know what I mean? Like, he has a oil field trucking business just running. He does heavy duty mechanic. You know what I mean? So he's good. Like, but working with him, like, when I tell you no lunch breaks, so now I'll be working at other places. Go for your lunch. Now I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
I'm accustomed to that.
Yeah.
Right. That's because don't. I forgot what I said.
You don't take breaks. You finish. Don't stop till the job is done.
Yeah, don't stop till the job is done. And I learned that when I was working with him, because so in Drayton Valley, so the company he was working for, there were two shops.
Okay.
So he worked at the shop where he was just alone, solo. There was a manager, the secretary, and all those people. Then the other shop had the other mechanics, right? So there was a lot more people in this other shop, but he was just solo in this shop. When I tell he would start at 6 a.m. and like go home at like 2, it's no joke. Even in the night, even worse when we're still in Montreal. That's all he did. Work.
Holy.
So then, to a point where my dad, like, he would have 3 trucks in, and we're talking like hefty jobs. He will not. I'm telling you, like, to the point where the boss said, "Yo, you gotta go."
Yeah.
He's like, "Nah, like, I'm not done."
Yeah.
And it all stems from how he grew up, his background. Rough, like, you know what I mean. Like, one of the craziest stories, and like, I only found out about the story when I was 17. You know what I mean? So, like, knowing that and seeing how he works now, that's why I work so hard with whatever I do. That's why I don't stop until the job is done, right? And now he's one of the top mechanics, I want to say, like, in Drayton Valley and surrounding areas, even areas in, like, Hinton, that's like, 2-3 hours away, because he's built a name for himself, right? And whether it's roadside service or whether it's in the shop, when there's a call coming at 2 a.m., he answers it. I'm like, why do you go at 2 a.m.? And he says it's because no one else is gonna pick up the phone, right? No other mechanic is gonna pick up the phone. So I should pick up the phone, because now that's going to put me ahead of everything. So, there's many more lessons that I could go about, but the main thing and what it stems from is don't stop until the job is done.
No, I actually really like that because even at work sometimes when I'm at work, if I'm working on a task, like they'll be like, "Oh, you can just take your break anytime," but it's hard for me to take myself away from the task when I haven't finished loading the truck
It's
or load it,
hard.
or like I'm like, "Yo, I'm not done. I'm gonna have to go.
Yeah.
What am I relaxing for?" And then I have to come back and then do this work, right?
You know.
So I actually, a theme even in the last episode with Vince, one of the themes that I kind of saw that kind of came out was like the importance of having a father figure in their life, right? I think Ori can attest to that too. Is that like with Vince, because his dad was involved when he was doing real estate, he actually learned how to do real estate. I feel like lots of kids don't always learn that. They don't have that kind of, their father pushing them to, hey, get this property, build this. I'll help you. If you can either
that
get
mental
paid
aspect.
out. Exactly. You don't have that mental aspect. And your father, even if he doesn't say it, he's showing you by his actions.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, Kudzi, this is how you have to be. As a man, this is how you have to be. You got to be working hard, to provide for your family and stuff like that. So I think that's a really great example that your dad set for you.
100%.
So shout out to Pops, yo.
Yes,
shout out to Pops.
Yeah.
And so kind of continuing from that, so you had been in Drayton Valley now, and you joined this hockey league, right?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure, I think when you were in that hockey league, you were the only black person.
Yeah, basically,
Yeah.
Basically.
So you're the only black individual in that hockey league. How was that experience, man?
I want to say a story before that. That's gonna make sense. There was one time where I trained so hard in the summer, so hard. Like I'm telling you, like to the point where I would go do because I wanted to weight a certain weight, 170, to the point where I was so dedicated to the point where I'd go outside, run a couple laps, come back on the scale. I had the scale right by the door. So like, did I reach it yet? No. Run. You know what I mean? Like that season. There's the A team, which is the top team. Then there's the B team. There's second team, within that same age group. And they cut me. They didn't make it, and it all stems from the coaches selecting friends and yada yada yada.
Politics.
And the guy's actually my dude, but he hadn't played hockey in years, and then he came back and he played, and then they picked him over me, but he was not that good anyway. So I got called up for so I was on the B team at this point, and I got called up from the A team, like, hey, can you come fill in for us? It's like, I bet this is my shot. So it's crazy that the guy that they selected over me was my partner, the D partner.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So then, so I remember this play vividly. I every time I see Walk to West Ed, I kind of visualize myself doing, because it was such.
So you guys played in West Ed?
No, I'm just saying every time I see a hockey rink, I visualize what I'm about to say. So I came out. So we're in our zone now. They dumped the puck. We're in our zone. He came around the net, calling for the puck. He passes it to me. We're still in our zone. I'm skating against the boards. I'm doing my moves. I toe dragged it. So toe drag is with the tip of your stick, you pull the puck over like this, right? You pull it, and then I stick handled, and then at the top of the circle, I shot. I took a wrist shot. Yeah. And it went bar down. So bar down is when you shoot it and the crossbar, it hits the crossbar and it goes in.
It went down and then
it went down. Bing! It went in. And I did not celebrate. My parents were in attendance. Yeah. I did not celebrate nothing. Just, hey, good job, whatever. Went to the bench, and then I looked over. I looked over at the coach that cut me. I looked over at him. No words, and that was it. So, that is such an important piece when I talk about hockey, because, I never gave up. You know what I mean? I never gave up to, because someone cut me and whatnot. You know what I mean? So when it came to hockey, the racism and, it was a change for sure. Being the only black guy in the league. Yeah. People were after me, hitting me, whatever and whatnot. Some parents on our team were asking my parents, did you put your son in any hockey camp? Yeah. Or anything like that, and they're like, nah, even talking about this is emotional because it's bringing back memories, you know what I mean? Yeah. But being the only black person is hard. Yeah. A good role model for me is PK Subban, favorite player, and the thing is, it's always maintain your character. Yeah. PK has always maintained his character, and watching him, how he, carries himself.
Sorry. So you mean in terms maintaining his character in terms of whatever is happening to him, whatever the other players are doing.
Yeah, players, fans, and I think when you get to a higher level of football, hockey, and everything, when it comes to the league, they're really like intact. They're really like they protect each other, whether you're white, Indian, whatever. But when it comes to these small little leagues, like they don't care. Like players too be going at it, But carrying yourself in a way like don't react too quickly. There's points where I would get punched. I'll just maintain because it's not a reflection of me. It's a reflection of you that's doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the way I would, payback is score. Score, make that big hit, make you miss and everything. And I can openly say, like, I was talented. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think anyone was, there were some people better than me. But I knew, like, as a black guy being the only, I was good. You know what I mean? Like, I could be in the conversation, So to the point where, my team manager would stay up late in the morning or late in the night, like, writing emails to the league about, like, a racist remark that someone else made and all that stuff, right? And it never stopped, it didn't stop even after those emails, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it shows you, like, how much, they it's nonchalant to them, like, okay, we'll take care of it. He's suspended one game, nothing. Yeah. Nowadays, you get suspended for, like, a whole season, half the season,
and bigger consequences.
Yeah, so it was, so it was hard, but, like, I miss it. If I knew better now, I would have stayed and, if I had that same mentality, but, at 15, 16 years old, it's kind of hard to convince, that kid, like, hey, everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, I like that because you mentioned a few things there. And there's a guy at my work. His name is Dennis. And he always tells me, he's like, yo, never allow someone else to control you. So, like, no matter, like, if you're like, oh, yo, you're a bad worker or whatever, like that, never, like, take that to heart and then get a reaction, react in a way, because if I react and I'm mad and I'm vexed and it's bothering me for the whole day, you are controlling me.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
and I think that's a really dope lesson. It's like, even though it was super racist remarks and it might have been real difficult to keep your cool and stuff like that, like, and it's like, it's not like just one person, the whole team. You got a whole team of dudes every game. And for you being able to keep your cool, like you said, PK Subban, being able to maintain your character, right? In spite of all of that.
Yeah.
I think that's a super dope lesson.
However, there's sometimes, you reach a boiling point, you're just like,
you gotta let it out a little bit.
You just gotta let it out. And there's some times, let it out, cross check, like, you don't care at that point, you know what I mean? Yeah. So, but, like, the most important thing is, like, maintain your character, like, we're all human. I'm going to be heated one day. I'm going to be a hothead. But, like, as long as I know, like, who I am and how I carry myself, everyone else around me is going to see that. And they're going to know that, okay, when he blows up, it's not because he's a hothead. It's because he's had enough.
He's had enough.
So,
he's had enough. And actually, I love that you said that. There's actually another thing I was going to say, too, is, like, you said that your one way that you used to shut them up was to score the goals, right? And that's even similar to in ball. I think I was watching the new movie Hustle.
Yeah,
Hustle, right? And in Hustle, the guy the crowd is booing him, whatever. He's a foreign player. The crowd's booing him and stuff, and it was hard to deal with, right? The noise, but I think what Adam Sandler told him was like, yo, listen. If these guys are booing you and stuff like that, but the best way is to quiet them so you don't hear them. Silence the crowd. If, the crowd is making fun of you, like, oh, yo, you're garbage or you're trash or whatever like that. If you hit a couple baskets, you beat their team and they're silent, that's the most satisfying feeling because you shut the whole crowd up.
And the best part is, like, that would put the icing on the cake for that. It's not even to showboat. It's just to stay quiet.
To stay quiet. Don't even just act like it's
Kawhi mode. You just stay quiet, boom. So no, for sure. So
no, okay, I like that.
Yes, sir.
I like that. So I guess I was gonna ask you, what advice would you give to somebody else who's attempting to be the first black person in anything, right? And I guess that kind of is staying true to your character. But if there's anything else that you want to add,
it's number one is always stay true to yourself and maintain your character. Another thing I'll say is just keep working. Just keep working hard. Like, I know it sounds so vague, and, we've heard that, just keep working. But honestly, like, just keep working. There's going to be a point. It's hard. I understand. But just keep working. And, because there's not a lot of black people in a lot of things, But, like my dad, there's a lot of mechanics in Drayton Valley. But the thing that separates my dad is he keeps reading every day. You know what I mean? To a point where there was one day where when they all moved into one shop, he didn't like that, but they all moved into one shop. The only time where he didn't finish a job was because he wanted to go back home and further read on something he had learned before, or kind of like critical think, okay. Because it was an impossible job, right? Like, anyone else wouldn't have done it. But he was just like, yo, like, how can I make this work? It's not working, but how can I make this work? And indeed he did. So, we have a big burden on our backs to kind of, it's always expected for us to get to get it right the first time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So my advice is, like, just keep working, just keep, grinding. It's going to take time, but the time will come, and it's gonna be so sweet. Trust me, it's gonna be sweet.
When you do make,
it's gonna be sweet.
100%. I agree with that. I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. So now, after you have played hockey, now where was this transition to football? How did that happen?
Man, that same game I told you about. Yeah. The coach that was reffing my game was the decoy.
Okay.
And I thank him till this day.
Yeah.
So what happened was at the time there was Ask FM. You know how people would ask, like, anonymous questions. So someone asked, like, yo, come play football, like, so and so. Coach Was is his name. So shout out Coach Was.
Shout out Coach Was.
Yeah, he's like, yo, like, who's that football player? Nice, like, y'all gotta get him, because a lot of the players on the hockey team played football. So
okay.
That was how it. So I was like, nah, I'm not trying to play football. Like, nah. In Montreal, I wanted to, but my parents said nah. So I was like, I'm not playing football. So one day I was just like, I bet I'm gonna just go to practice one day. Went to practice, and then they gave me the equipment. I know nothing football. I ain't not, So I put on the equipment, and they're like, okay, line up here, and this is your job. So they line me up at defensive end. This is your job. I got 5 tackles in a row. It was easy. Coach looked at me.
Chicken.
He's like, yo, the coach looked at me. He's like, that's your spot. And I'm looking back on the line. I'm like,
I be cheese.
Everybody's like, play center, like
since
young, God. So I knew I was gifted for that. You know what I mean? Practice, play defensive end. I knew nothing. All I knew was just chase the quarterback. Yeah. Try to make a tackle, and I was good. And then, this was grade 11, so I only studied grade 11. I'm 22, started at 16.
Yeah.
I only played a couple years of football. You know what I mean? So for me to come this far, it's really big. And then, I signed with the Edmonton Wildcats after my senior year. Didn't play my first year. It was hard. Tore my ACL prior to that, prior to my first season. So it was partially torn, completely tore. Got surgery, missed 2018. And then 2019 is when it was like my year. Like I had to come out, show out.
Yeah.
Then so I had a good year. Special teams, football players, special teams is important. Special teams?
Because, bro, a lot of opportunities for you guys as they come out of special teams, bro. A lot of you guys who are playing right now in Wildcats or even in Huskies and stuff like that, when you go to university, bro, you ain't going to start on the defense or the offense all the time, bro. You got to sometimes start from special teams and build a path for yourself to get into offense and defense. And then even when you guys go to the league, a lot of players start in special teams.
And that's how they get drafted. They get money.
And they get money, bro.
Just to run down, like not even, you know what I mean? So,
and bro, if you forget, bro, special teams is actually on the court, on the field a lot of times, bro.
Yo. We're not more than defense, yo.
More than defense, bro. The kickoff, punt.
Yo, so special teams, like, you're not a true football player if you don't play special teams. That's like, there's no question about that. You can't be coming. I see kids, yo, why am I not playing on defense? Why am I playing on offense? Like, nah, yo, you're playing with grown men.
Yeah.
And like, if you don't know special teams because you didn't play in high school, man, you're gonna learn today. And when I go up against guys, like, I make sure they pay. Like, you know what I mean?
Make them feel.
Like, love special teams, and it's gonna get you a ticket anyway. So
that's a gem right there. He dropped, guys. I'm telling you.
Yeah. So I played special teams. That actually got me into a traveling roster. I had this mindset. I get the mindset from you. I was like, you know what? Winnipeg. Everyone likes flying to Winnipeg.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was just like, yo, I'm gonna fly to Winnipeg. I'm flying to Winnipeg.
Yeah.
And you know, it didn't look great. I was flying to Winnipeg. That same day, that week prep, that Monday, hey yo, Kudz, come aside. So, you know, the A, B, C, D, E happened. Book off everything. You're traveling to Winnipeg. I said, whoa.
Yes, sir.
I said, God is good.
Yes,
I
sir.
said, God is good.
Yes,
you know
he
what I mean?
is.
God is. So they took off, embraced special teams, embraced it, played hard, grit, everything. Like I was like, you know, like it was almost like a try for me, and I had to go. Excuse my language, balls to the wall.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, facts.
So then 2020 season done. COVID.
Yeah.
Then 2021, I came back, started on the defense.
Yeah.
And, you know, I had my role. You know, it's kind of tough playing interior.
Yeah.
But I had my role, you know what I mean? I was, you know, I want to say my role was to kind of like, you know, be there for the young guys, mentor them, lead by example, you know. So I had a bigger responsibility. And then, so then I ended I actually tore my medial tricep, you know, during the season. But I still kept on going. I was out for like about 2 games.
I do remember that, actually. I do remember
2
that.
games I was out, but that didn't stop me. And I guess the moment everyone was waiting for, and I committed to Carleton University.
Hey.
Carleton University.
Big time university.
Yes, sir. So that's where I committed to. And then, so as we stand, that's where you know I committed to right now. You know, I tore my Achilles actually in February. A week after I committed.
Jeez.
Tore my Achilles playing basketball at school during a gym class. And then, you know, but nothing changed. Thank God nothing changed. The coach just said, you know, don't worry. Everything's going to be in line. Everything's going to be the same and everything. So
I wanted to actually dive into some things here. So man, you've had a couple injuries, right? You've had a couple injuries.
2 major, like this is like second major one.
Second major one.
Yeah.
What is the mindset when you have an injury, man? Like, cause I know it's not easy, bro. Like, bro, that is one of the most frustrating shit. Especially you work so hard, bro. Yeah. And then just one play, all your work set back again. You got to work all the way back. It's very, very frustrating. So kind of tell me, like, what was your mindset when you had those injuries? And how were you able to push yourself past those injuries? And I guess what advice would you have for somebody else who's going through an injury?
You know what? Like, it's hard, you know? Like, my first injury, my ACL. And you know what's crazy? I think this is where I'm going to announce my retirement from basketball. Because all these injuries that I've had, the knee, the ankle, Aquille, basketball. So I'm officially done. I'm just a shooter at this point.
Hey, he's a shooter.
Corner 3, I'm there. I ain't not running. Nah, I'm cherry picking. But so my ACL, you know, that was a big one. You know, a year after I signed, you know, like I want to say like my biggest accomplishment of so far was signing with the Wildcats, and you know now it's like I have to prove myself again. So you know the mindset there was, you know, just keep grinding. It was my first experience, and I was kind of like, oh my goodness, like how's this gonna go? You know, some days you're unmotivated, but once you start getting better, walking properly, you know, doing more things in the weight room, then it's good. You know, so then. I was good.
So I'm gonna stop you right there.
Yeah.
I like that because you said once you start seeing progress, at first it's hard, and once you start seeing progress, like you start making moves and stuff like that, it gets easier. I think that's like everything in life, yo. Like when you're going into a new profession, you're going into a new thing, yo, it's hard, bro. You're just a beginner.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're lost.
But you're lost.
Lost in the sauce.
You're lost in the sauce. You're drowning out there. You know? But as you start progressing and you're getting better, you build more confidence. You're like, oh, yo, I can actually come back. Oh, yo, I could come back. I could come back. And it improves, right? And it's like anything that you start in life, yo, you're once a beginner. Like, so even when you got that injury, that was your first time having that injury. And now having to overcome that injury. I'm sure having to overcome a second injury was way easier than having to overcome the first injury because you've already went through it.
100%. And like, you know, after that first injury, everything was good. You know, I had a good trainer. You know, I still have a good trainer. You know, new trainer now, Zach Brooks. So shout out to Zach Brooks. Shout out to Zach Brooks. Brooks Athletic Development and Sports Performance. I hope I got that right.
Drop the link.
But so you know, shout out to Misfit as well, Josh DeVoe. That was my first trainer. My ACL, great guy. You know, brother to me. So after all that first injury, came to Edmonton, started training with Zach and all that stuff. Then, I had like a lingering pain. You know what I mean? It wasn't like nothing like from the weight room or nothing. It was just like elbow pain. Then the first game during Calgary, boom. Just bulge, man. It's like, what's happening? Taped it up. You know me, taped it up.
Yeah.
Played. Then after the game, I'm taking out the tape.
Swollen.
Boom. Just hanging. I was in the bus like this from Calgary for 3 hours. I was leaning, I was like this, yo. I was just going like this. Trying to just get everything down, you know? And then, went for MRI, went for everything, and then, medial tricep gone.
So it popped, like it popped?
It popped like it just, the medial tricep, because you have 3 heads, so the one in the middle just. So right now, crazy. I only have 2 triceps.
You only have 2?
2 on this side, and and I'm getting another one.
Wait, what, they threw it away?
Nah, bro, it's scarred somewhere. It rolled up, it's scarred somewhere. So it's gone. So I only have 2, bro.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? But,
dang.
I was out for like, I want to say 2-3 games. Coach was like, yo, please, you got to come back. Right. So, they ordered a brace, but it's coming from the States.
Oh, yeah.
So H-Day Dice is like, if it doesn't come this week, you're playing. We're going to tape it up. The D-line coach was like, nah, play conservative, conservative.
Yeah.
That's like, it's not here, but you're going to play.
Yeah.
Nah. Until it came.
And then they're like, yo.
I felt valuable in that point because it's like, yo, we need you back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's when I knew I was like, I had a huge impact on the team.
Yeah.
So
that's a good feeling because, bro, whenever you get injured and you're out. And, bro, if nobody's checking for you,
you're done.
Bro, you feel bad, bro. You're like, yo, dog, I'm not even that good. These guys not even caring. These guys, because that's how when I was in Halifax, right? I knew that I was making an impact, and I knew that I was making a big impact. But when my team was good, bro, So when I got injured, my team is winning, bro. I ain't gonna lie, bro. I was like, dog. Man, I was getting cheesy. I don't want
so
these
at
guys
that point, were you wishing that there were? Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. Okay, it wasn't. I'm not gonna lie. I'll be honest.
Lose. I
didn't want my team to lose. I just didn't want them to win without me. So however that answers your question, that answers the question.
I feel you. But yeah, so that didn't stop me. Mm-hmm. I was just like, I'm coming back this year, like, because I had goals in mind that I wanted to attain.
Yeah.
When the brace came, it was a bit hard, you know what I mean, because it restricted my movement.
Yeah.
But when we came to that Saskatoon Hilltop game, bro, I was playing with, like, that brace was not there. I was, boom, extending top.
Yeah.
That was my best game. I don't know about you, but, like, my best games are always against the top teams. Yeah. Saskatoon Hilltops and Regina.
That level of competition.
It just rises. Like you're going through gaps like crazy. Bam, you're chasing, So that didn't stop me. And I think and the reason why I was so eager to come back, not only for myself, but to show the guys around the room how you should deal with an obstacle in front of you.
Go ahead.
You want me to repeat it?
No. Yes, I want you to repeat it. Yes, I do.
The reason why I was so eager to come back to play was not for myself, but for the guys around the room to see how you deal with an obstacle in front of you.
And that's to keep pushing.
You got to keep pushing. I
I
know pain, you got to, but, football, like you're bound to get injured, you know what I mean? Not necessarily just pain, but just anything in life, because people just come to a roadblock. Let me turn around. There's going to be another roadblock where you're going. Let me come around.
Yeah.
But see, if you go through this first roadblock, you're free now.
Yeah.
But now if you're trying to take a detour, the road's going to be blocked. Right? In some instances, a detour is good.
Yeah.
Some instances, it's like, this is the only way to go.
Yeah.
You're just going to keep going back and back and back. So that's one example I wanted to set an example for. And I did that. I got a lot of respect. And my head did not swell up, you know what I mean? I still kept on doing that. I was there for the young guys. I was actually talking to one of my teammates. I said, a lot of people don't believe me when I say this, but like I started off where you are right now. Just practicing. I was there. Right? But y'all just see me now playing and you think, oh, this guy's a star. Like, nah, like yeah, I'm good. I wouldn't consider myself a star. Like I work hard for what I want and I get it. But I was once there just practicing. I don't know if you remember the running back Chili.
I do.
He said, after practice, after a rainy day, after practice, he said, I respect you so much because you come in every day. This was year one. You come in every day and bust your ass off every time, and knowing that you're not going to play.
Yeah. And that I think is a mindset, because knowing that you're not going to get an opportunity to play or to be on the big stage at that moment, but still coming in to put in the work. Yeah. What makes you do that? Like, what makes you come in and do the work still, even though you're not getting an opportunity to shine right there?
I'm gonna say my dad,
That lesson from your dad again.
Lesson
from
my dad, Although sometimes we butt heads and all that stuff, but that lesson, you know what I mean? Like, I don't care like how much maybe you don't like someone, but there's always gonna be a lesson that's gonna like revert back to them, and that's the thing. It's just like, like, why? And for me, it's just like, why give up? Why stop? Because it's hard. Okay, I understand, but like, how many times are you gonna do that? Yeah. It's all a mindset thing, like there's a lot of people that come into something, do it, quit, whatever, do it, quit. But like, what do you learn? What do you benefit from that? Yeah. Nothing. Yeah. Right. So all this time you're going to have wasted times where like you'd have tried 5 things and now you're on the 6th one because all those 5 didn't work. Nah, like, or you could have been at 3. Yeah. Right. And I want to say like 3 is greater than 5 when it comes to, and that when we talk about not giving up, right? Accomplishments, right? Because you've made, like, you've done 3 times. It's only 3, like, accomplishments, but that's still big, right? Yeah, your goal was 5, but 3 out of 5? Yeah.
As opposed to getting 0 because you didn't keep pushing, right?
You know what I mean? You just seem like a failure. So for me, it was just like, number one, chasing my dreams of what I want to do. And, a great example, shout out to Luther. Great example,
Big up, like, Luther, dog.
Yes, sir.
My that's guy.
Yes, sir. That's the goal. Play pro football. Yeah. And whether it's like football or my brand, it's all a mindset. Just work. Just keep working. Like I'm 22, and I still have a lot of years ahead of me. But it's about what you do now and how you kind of channel your priorities and how you, what direction you choose and how you decide to go about it. And just there's gonna be humps. But shit, like, you got to create your own path, you know what I mean? So, like, you smooth out those bumps as you go, right? There's a bump there, bet I'm over it. I smoothed it out. The next one, smoothed it out. Next one, smooth. So, it's all about how you dictate the situation. Simple.
I like that. And, I like that, actually, what you said, because I think that, like you said, life is full of ups and downs. Yeah. It is not going to be smooth all the way around. Yeah. And you have to go through those things. Like, you have to go through those things in order for you to grow. And that's a lot of what the podcast is about.
Do you know what the world would be if we didn't go through all this stuff?
It would. If you don't go through any, it's like an example that I always bring up. It's like if you have a tree or a flower that grows in perfect conditions, no rain, no wind, no nothing. It's growing in perfect conditions, but as soon as you put it outside and it experiences some wind or some rain, it's going to break. It's going to blow away because it's never experienced nothing, right? Yeah. And it might be tattered from the rain or the wind might have bent it a little bit. Yeah. But when that tree grows up and it grows, it's going to be strong and be able to handle those different things because it experienced them before and was able to push itself through, right? So I know you had an experience, I think it was in 2015, where you said, I think it was someone kind of gave up on you a little bit, right? And could you tell us a little bit about that experience? And it kind of led you, I think, into a depression. How did you kind of...
So basically the person, won't mention names, the person that gave up on me was someone close to me, like someone I look up to and all that stuff. Like, we're just basically, calling me a failure. Saying like, you're not good for anything, like, why don't you do that? Just because they wanted me to follow their direction. And that didn't sit well with me, and it to the point where I wasn't in school because I was still trying to find what I wanted to do. But I got that pressure from this person, and daily calls like, what are you doing with your life, yada yada yada, comparing me to other people. And like that really like that really like drove me to the ground. You know what I mean? And to the point where I would just sleep. So the incident was 2020. 2019, sorry. 2019. That's the date of where like that, those couple months I was really depressed.
Just,
Even that year actually,
yeah.
I was really depressed.
Yeah.
And it started in July, right? And then started in July and then went on through the whole like the year, the season, and I would not wake up unless I had to go for football. You know what I mean? That's how like I was in my bed every day after practice, eating McDonald's, wake up. To the point where like I'll not even eating just eggs and bread. You know what I mean? Like it was tough. It was tough.
Yeah.
And football was my outlet. I have a project called What's Your Outlet?
Yep.
And basically like doing things that you love that's going to take you out of a situation where you feel uncomfortable. So football was, what really like helped me and what really motivated me actually to get better. Because I was going to that field, it's raps for everyone.
Yeah,
it's raps. The anger I'm feeling, you're gonna feel it today. You know what I mean? You're gonna feel it today. You know what I mean? No stopping.
Take it on his anger.
Like I did not. It's like I would play through anything. I would do anything just to go out there and play.
Yeah.
And you could see it. Yeah. So for me, it was just that, and I was depressed, and that led me to starting Eternal Keeper. I always wanted to start a brand. I did not know what, but the name Eternal Keeper is because I kept a lot of things. I never really expressed my feelings to anyone. Oh, are you okay? Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Really deep down, it's eating me inside, just eating me. So, and after some months when things started, getting better. I had the right support system. I had friends. I had family.
Yeah.
I had my girlfriend Jane. Shout out to Jane. She was there for me and made sure that everything was gonna be okay. And then when I was up, my message was like, let's be positive, because I'm naturally like an outgoing person, happy, whatnot, right? So even Coach Darcy says like, you bring the energy. Like I want you around, no matter what it is. Like so. That stuck with me. That's who I am. That's who Kudzanai Bingepinge is. Is the energy bringer. The positive guy. That's all stems from working out hard. Working hard, not giving up. So that's how where it all stems from, right? And so that's what led me to start Eternal Keeper. And I don't know if y'all can see the dead rose here. So the rose symbolizes the brain, and then this is the side of my head. And so when you keep things inside, the rose dies. So your brain starts, deteriorating, and all that stuff. So just, I'm just here to spread positivity, make sure everything is okay. I tell people I love you. A lot of people have a misconception of, oh, I love you. Nah, I love you. Heart to heart. Like, it's nothing intimate. I just want to let you know that I care for you. Yeah. And Eternal Keeper is just a platform where I want everyone to feel safe, and that's what I created. So where everyone can feel themselves, and a place where they can go on social media just to see like, okay, like this is motivating. It's not just a brand. It's not just a clothing brand. Matter of fact, it's not even a clothing brand. The clothing is just here to support the message. Yeah. It's just the message, the motivation, the inspiration, everything. So the merch is just there to kind of support the message, and like, once you wear any merch of Eternal Keeper, you should feel safe.
I like that. I actually really like that. I like that a lot, because I think that like you touched on a lot of key points there. Even going from your depression to how you started your brand. Yeah. Just one thing before I continue on that, yes. But so you said that you were a little bit depressed from the things that kind of happened, the events that kind of happened, and someone that you really, really valued kind of giving up on you a little bit, right? So what advice would you give to others who might be in that similar situation, dealing with depression? What advice would you give for them trying to get out of depression?
Never lose hope.
Never lose hope. I like that.
Never lose hope. I like that. The point where I was like suicidal, and all this stuff, like TMI, but like I was like on the edge. Like I would like cry. I would like, but in my back of like, I would look at like, pictures of my family and stuff like that. It's like, I can't, how much pain I would cause to them. Yeah. Especially my little sister, only brother. She's only 12. And like, it was painful, man. Like it was hard. Yeah. But the only advice I can give sorry, my African accent is, advice I can give is never lose hope. Like, never lose hope.
Yeah.
It's going to be dark. It's going to be dark.
Yeah.
But just know, like they say, there's always going to be light at the end of the tunnel. And, that's something. And, it's crazy enough. Jane's sister actually, like, one day she saw on TikTok, the quote, never lose hope, is actually in the Bible. I never knew that.
Oh, really?
I forget the chapter.
Actually,
but,
that's very cool.
I don't know if you can pull it up, but, like, never lose hope is actually a Bible verse.
Okay.
And I was just like, I'm actually curious now what Bible verse it is.
Or is it possible to pick the
yes, sir.
Pick that up?
And never lose hope is, I forget what verses it is, and like, so that's something, I found out a couple months ago, and I'm like, wow, like, God is actually, this whole brand thing, like, God is speaking to me, because I don't know how, like, I don't remember how I came up with never lose hope. It just came to me. You know what I mean? And ever since then, I just took it, ran with it. And, I was actually talking to one of my friends today in Montreal. He's, like, still repping that Internet Keeper gear. I was talking to one of my, Colton Hippie?
Yeah.
His younger brother, Chopper. I was talking to him yesterday, and he's just like, it's been rough these couple months, but, never lose hope.
I got that. Bro, and that must feel good to hear that from other people, because it means you're making an impact on people.
Yeah, like, and even, like, people like him, even people in the CFL, like Luther's teammate, his name is Richie Sindani. He wears it all the time. You know what I mean? He tells me how much he respects his other people. So, like, seeing that quote,
that's big,
and people loving Internal Keeper, like,
that's big.
So, like, advice that I have for you guys, it's like, never lose hope. And it's going to be rough. It's going to be tough. But, at the end of the day, you're going to make it out. You're not in a tough situation forever. Yes, it may be for a long period of time, but you're going to get out of it. But also, you have to be proactive and take the steps to get out of there. You can't just say, hopefully one day it's going to disappear. Nah, it's going to come if you put in the work as well too. So, yeah.
So, I like what you said a lot, because there's actually Steve Harvey has a thing. In a podcast, I think it's on Earn Your Leisure. Shout out to Earn Your Leisure.
Yes, sir.
They had him on Earn Your Leisure, and Steve Harvey said he asked the question to people, how many of you guys have had a funky ass day, shitty ass day? You just didn't think you was gonna make it.
Yeah.
Right? And everybody put up their hand. Right? And then he's like, how many of you still made it to the next day? Right? And everyone raised their hand. It's like, on the days that are super shitty and rough, you're still batting 100% because you still made it to the next day.
Yeah.
Right? But it's very very few times that we actually take that in. You know, a lot of times when negative things are happening to you, you never think about the positive things. You never focus on the positive things. Like, oh, this thing is so bad. You know, like, I'm like,
you're going deeper.
You're going deeper. You know, like for example, you get into a car accident. I'm like, oh man, now my car is broken. I can't get to work, but I'm alive. Like, but what if I died, bro? What if I was in the hospital and I wouldn't even be able to work?
Nothing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
so I really love what Internal Keeper is about, what your brand is about, because it's not just a saying. It's actually it's like a mindset. It's like
a lifestyle.
It's a lifestyle. Never lose hope, right? Mm-hmm. Never lose hope, regardless of what the situation might be, how bad it may look, where things might be at the moment, because there's always hope.
There's always hope at the end.
So I'm just gonna ask you just two more questions here.
Yes, sir.
Now, I guess since our last interview, kind of what you've been up to since that time. I know you had this big announcement. You signed to Carleton, so that's huge.
Yeah,
that's super dope. Could you kind of tell us a little bit about, like, what is the recruitment process like for a football player? Tell us give us a little insight into that, and I can kind of piggyback off of that too, just from my experiences too.
Honestly, it's a hard process. I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, harder in Canada. Because, we put so much on the line. Less exposure. We put a lot on the line as athletes in Canada, but we just get peanuts, you know. And it's, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm still grateful for everything. Like, I'm gonna get whatever I have, lined up. However, the process, either two ways. you're either, a star in high school, never worked out a day in your life. This is a story Luther told me. Never worked out a day in your life, and then go to university and think you're the man, and you just get a rude awakening, and you're like, yeah, yo, this is not for me. This is not for me. Or, you adapt to that new system because you love the game so much. In terms, furthermore onto the recruiting process, it depends, So for me, I reach out to the coaches. Here's my film, 2021 film. Here it is. Bam, 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 bam. Send it to everybody. Facebook, email, Instagram, everything. You know what I mean? I don't use Twitter that much, so not Twitter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you send it out.
Yeah.
And you just hope for one response.
Yeah.
And my response was in an hour.
Yeah.
Boom.
Damn.
Yes, we want you. Come.
Jeez.
Damn. I was like, this is too good to be true.
Yeah.
But, it was not all sweet for me. It was just like, trial and error.
Yeah.
Different teams now we're good. Thank you. Okay, cool. You know what I mean? But one team out east, they want me, So, but it's tough, There's a lot of long nights. You can't really negotiate like that unless if you're like
the
guy in Canada, you know what I mean?
Number one guy.
Yeah, because it's limited. It's stressful, I don't want to, you don't really always get what you expect. You know what I mean? A lot of things are verbal. You're going to get this. But once you sign there, once you're there, it's all gone. So, honestly, like at a point where if you have to walk onto a team, you might as well good at that because there's no promises, right? But that's how a lot of dreams get crushed when it comes to football in Canada is you're promised something. And it's not going the way you go, but it's a fun experience, when you get to go on visits and stuff. But it's stressful when it comes to, so am I gonna get what I was told I was gonna get? And
even in a scenario where you're at, with say like a coach leaving, a coach that might have recruited you leaving or being
right? That was the toughest thing for me because it was just like, shout out to the two coaches that recruited me. And I'm, really thankful for them. And, it's crazy because they actually talked to the new coach about me, so he knows my situation. But they went on to do great things. One's coaching the Red Blacks and the other one is at McMaster right now. Happy for them. Yeah. Talked to the new coach. And he's like, I've I've respect for those two guys. So, but it's different. My situation, having a torn Achilles before the season started. Yeah. They only know me based off my film. Yeah. But, at the end of the day, like, I just need to, like, be grateful to be in this position and still be able to kind of play the game. Also, recovering. I have a good recovery team at Pivotal.
Shout out to Pivotal.
Raj. So, yeah, everything's going good. But the recruiting process is hard, especially when you get injured before the season and they don't know you. They only know you
from film. Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Hard. So, but how about you? Like your experience, like.
So my experience, because what we want to do too with the podcast is make sure we're educating and stuff as well. So I can educate this from my experience, from what I know. But so one thing from my experience was like, I wasn't a star player. I had only played for 2 years, football for 2 years, right? But I knew what I wanted.
Mashing up everyone.
I was mashing up people, And so I'm my mentality. Like I don't care. I'm just gonna go.
By the way, speaking of mentality, Aquille told me that he's past due now. So I need an explanation.
Hey, listen. You tore your Achilles. I don't want to do that to you. No, we don't gotta bring up the past.
Aquille told me he was gonna drive me back.
I was though, but
99 yards.
I realized though that part of it was the ego thing, and I don't think that I couldn't do it though. Don't get it twisted. I don't think that I couldn't do it. I don't think that I couldn't do it. But like realistically, I would have to train, and I didn't really have the time to really train and be like. To do that, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen for whatever reason. It didn't happen, but it wasn't. I wasn't ducking the smoke. But, I'm like John Moran. We're running up the chimney. We want all the smoke. But from my experience from recruiting was like, if you want something, you got to make that shit happen. Because like some of these coaches they're not looking for you. You're not like a high. Well, I'm just talking from my experience. Like I'm not like a super number one recruit in
You and I both.
I'm not a number one recruit, right? I'm just coming into the sport. I'm still new. I'm still fresh to it. Not a number one recruit, but that doesn't mean like I had game film, and I know in my game film I was doing damage. So what I did was I went on, found all the schools, whatever it be UBC, Carleton, Simon Fraser, Mount Allison, Halifax.
Yeah,
SMU.
no limits.
No limits, bro. It doesn't matter, bro. You can go send tapes to the school in the States. It doesn't matter, bro. Send them all. The worst thing they can say is no.
Yeah.
Like right at the point that you're at, you still have no offers. So you might as well, go all out. It's like what's his name in the NBA? Steve Nash. This dude sent his tapes to how many schools? Only one school replied to him. And look, he was a 2-time MVP in the NBA.
Look at Steph Curry.
Davidson, no major offers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's playing in the finals tonight. So like, you have to send out what I would say for like people that are not as highly recruited. Yo, send out your films. Go look on the website. Look at the coaches. Send out your films to the coaches. Send out your tapes.
Yeah.
Send them an email. And then whatever trips you get, whatever offers you get, take all your trips. Take them all, bro. Don't, even if you know what school you're gonna go to, take them all.
Yes,
those are experience. That's an experience. That's an opportunity that you're getting, right?
And once you go there, you
Build
dictate the moment.
Yeah.
Dictate everything. Like, I am so and so. This is who I am.
Yeah.
Let's talk. A lot of kids nowadays, oh, I'm going on a recruiting trip to XYZ school. Oh, yeah. Nah, yo, it's done. You know what I mean? And I think because, we have that experience of junior, the experience we've gone through.
It is different, yeah.
Now when you go into a room, it's like, yo, like, how are you going to use me?
Yeah.
Now you're challenge them.
Yeah. That's exactly.
You're
That's
like,
very, very true.
yo, what's going to happen? What's the system? What's the playbook? Hey, yo, can we watch? Yo, I'm telling you.
Because you want to know, bro. You don't want to go in there and then you're thinking that you're going to play DN and they put you at a wide receiver, bro. You know what I mean? Like, you want to go in there and know your thing.
No.
Another thing, anything that the coaches promise you, get that ish on paper. Get it on paper, bro. Anybody can say anything to you. They can be like, oh, yo, we're going to pay for your house and we're going to do this. We're going to do. Get it on paper, bro.
Yes,
make sure you have an email or whatever, because verbal thing, it don't mean nothing, bro. You have no proof of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's one thing that kind of messed me up a little bit when I got injured. It's like I didn't have the proof, or the coach, you know what he did? He showed it to me on the email, but he showed it to me on his computer. And he's like, I'm going to send it to you. And I was like, oh, okay. And then he never sent it to me. So then when I was looking for it, I couldn't find it. I'm like, yo, where? I know he sent it. I'm like looking. I couldn't find it. So then that way I couldn't really negotiate anything because I didn't have the deal. You know what I'm saying? So make sure they send it to you on paper, yo. Make sure.
And read it too.
And read it, bro. Read the fine print. Read all of that. Also, another thing is, like, if possible, try to go there. When you go there and see like what your living situation is gonna be like, those things. See what your surroundings are gonna be like. You know, whether it's gonna be far from school, close to school. Do you need to get a car? Do you need to take the bus?
Feel the moment.
Feel the moment, yo. You gotta really assess your situation, right?
Exactly.
And then just be there. If you do get an offer, grab that playbook in advance, bro. Because when you go there in training camp, that's where they're gonna see. And when you get to training camp, that is where they're gonna. Your training camp determines your minutes. Because, bro, they don't have time to be looking throughout the whole season to see unless somebody gets injured. Yeah. So training camp, you really gotta ball out. And it's hard once they have a set roster in training camp.
It's hard.
Bro, it's hard to change that roster, bro. Hard.
You're sweating.
Bro, it's hard, bro. So make an impact in training camp, and the way to do that is gonna be to make sure you get the playbook in advance and try and do your due diligence.
100%.
And then like Kudz said, yo, put in the work, man. Because when I went there, like I said, again, I wasn't the most talented player. Yeah. But you know what I had? I had a mindset. And any one of my former players, some of my former teammates are in the got drafted to the NFL. One of my former teammates got drafted this year, Adrian Grant to I think it's BC Lions. So shout out to Adrian Grant. Green, sorry. Adrian Green. So like all those things, you have to put in the work. Those guys are way more talented than me. But what I had was a mindset. And because I had that mindset, I was able to perform. Because I was like, nah, bro, I don't care, bro. I don't care who you are. I'm going to compete. Yeah. I'm going to compete. So those are
100%.
some of the things that I would say are big things with the recruiting process in those type of things.
100%.
So and just keeping good contact with your coaches and stuff like that, because the situation does change.
Yeah.
But Kudzi here, I'm just going to ask you. Actually, so this is my final 2 questions. So,
Listen.
what would be 2 lessons that you've learned so far in your life that you can give the people?
Number 1, actually, build a strong foundation. Build a strong foundation, because once you build that, no one can break it. You know what I mean? Okay, yeah, the house is built, but things can all break down. Someone can come, break your window. Okay, you're gonna fix it. Everyone's gonna come, break your door, break your thing, on fire your roof, whatever. But that foundation, once you build a steady, concrete foundation within yourself, you're unbreakable. Your arms can break this, but within, no one can get past your skin. Build a strong foundation in anything that you do.
Is God involved in that foundation?
100%. I believe that you can't do anything without him, because he gives you the wisdom. He gives you the wisdom, and like I said, never lose hope is in the Bible. You know what I mean? So he gives you the wisdom. He gives you the guidance. Sometimes you can be chilling here and say, oh, shit, let me go to such and such a place, right? You think that's just you, right? You can go there and meet someone that changed your life. That's God.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So God is involved in that,
100%.
So
Definitely
build a
agree with
strong
that.
foundation.
I definitely agree with that.
A second, advice, I would have to say, simple as it is, just maintain your character. Once you maintain your character, it's unbreakable. Foundation and character together.
Yeah.
It's
Solid.
solid,
Solid.
But keep building on it though.
Yeah.
That foundation, don't build a foundation and then put little things, Yeah, you can put little things, but make sure it's the same level and the same it has the same kind of
You're building layers on top
of the break of the foundation, right?
Yeah.
So make that foundation, just keep building it. So each level, each brick is the same as your foundation, and your character. Stay true to yourself. Don't step out of line. Stay within your box, but it's also good to step out of it to challenge yourself. Don't step out of it to be someone who you're not, but only step out when you want to challenge yourself, and then come back in. Go. Step back out, come back in for the right purposes.
Yeah, I like that. Yes, I like that. And so, our final question here, like a themed question on the podcast, is. That was a weak drum roll. I gotta get a drum roll. But what is your theory of the grind?
The theory of the grind, man, y'all should have given me this to prep, man. Y'all be putting me on the spot.
I want to put you on the spot. I want that natural answer. I remember. I think the last time you said it was a lifestyle.
Yeah.
If I'm correct. You said it was a.
I think it was a lifestyle. The theory. Repeat your question.
What is your theory of the grind?
The theory of the grind. I really want to say a lifestyle, but
you can say it.
It's
was you who said it the first time? Was it like it was somebody else?
The theory of the honestly, it's this time I'm gonna say it's it's a way of life. It's a lifestyle. I can't. It's hard to change the answer, but I also wanted to add that it's something to do with foundation. Like it's a stepping stool of success, and it's a stepping stool to achieve greater heights that you've never met. But at the end of the day, it all ties in it's a lifestyle. Yeah, my answer is gonna stay. It's a lifestyle.
Say no more.
The grind is it's a lifestyle.
It's not just something that you can do every once in a while.
It's not a temporary thing.
It's not a temporary thing. It's something that you gotta adapt your whole life to it.
Because anything you do, man, it's gonna be a grind.
Exactly.
Yeah, some things you're gonna get it easy, but it's gonna be a grind.
It's a grind,
yes, sir.
No, man. Hey, it was a pleasure. Listen.
Yes,
I want you to tell the people where they can find you, all your stuff, your Instagram, all your socials, where they can go get your merch, go support. It's your floor.
Yes, sir. So y'all can follow me on my personal account at survive_XCIX.
Drop the link.
Yes, sir. And then for my business page, you can follow me at internal.keeper. And both of those on Instagram. You can find me on Facebook as well at Internal Keeper, Twitter, Internal Keeper, either Internal Keeper or Internal.Keeper. I forget. You can also find my merch at www.internalkeeper.com. Right now, merch, we have windbreakers. Don't be fooled by the hot weather now. It's raining, so y'all want to still look drippy while it's raining? This is the one.
We got you.
We're going for $85.
We got you.
Nationwide shipping. Well, worldwide shipping.
Okay.
Y'all can get it. I'm coming out with new things, so y'all stay tuned. Y'all go like, follow, comment, all of that stuff. And, I just want to say thank you for having me.
No problem, my brother.
Aquille and my brother Ore. I appreciate it. You guys keep doing what you're doing.
Yes, sir.
And y'all are going up there, man. Y'all are out there. And like I said, the grind,
baby. It's a lifestyle.
It's a grind. It's a lifestyle. Keep going, and it's gonna be humps, but smoothing that road, y'all will get there. So I appreciate y'all. Love y'all.
No problem.
Yes, sir.
No problem. And don't worry. The next time we have Kudz on here, we're gonna ask him about the merch game. How you start the merch game?
Yes,
Don't
sir.
worry. We're gonna get
Part 3.
Part 3.
Yes, sir.
All right, y'all. Make sure y'all comment, like, subscribe to the Grind Theory podcast on Instagram. Check out the Island Grind Network on YouTube. And you can see this episode or the episodes that we have. And just stay tuned, man. We're gonna have a lot of episodes. I know we were kind of had a little hiatus, but we're gonna be back with the vengeance. We're back with the fire right now. So stay tuned, y'all. Much love.
Peace.